I call John O'Naylor.
Question be now put.
I call Stuart Nash.
Mr Chair, I'd like to talk about clause 5A1. And what it actually says, Mr Chair, is that the 1902 flag, what they call in the current New Zealand flag, is the 1902 flag. It says the 1902 flag is recognised as a flag of historical significance to the realm. Now, Mr Chair, I don't know why the word historical significance is, or the word historical is in there. It seems as by legislation we're already consigning the current flag to the past. Remove that word, I would suggest, because this flag is still of huge significance to a whole lot of New Zealanders and a whole lot of New Zealand groups. As has been mentioned, those from the RSA in particular are affronted that this flag has already been consigned to historical significance. It is of huge current significance to the people of New Zealand. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. In fact, Mr Goff and I think for the first time ever, I disagree with Mr Goff on something. I actually like the current flag. I'd like it to remain. But when Mr Goff talked about the fact that this wasn't put at a referendum at a general election, actually, this was highlighted in the RIS. The RIS actually said one of the main risks around this is there'll be disengagement. The way to really get engagement from Kiwis is to have this at a general election, but we're not going to do this. Mr Chair, the other point I'd like to make is 5A Part 2. It says any person or body other than a government department may use the 1902 flag except where required by law to use New Zealand flag or another specified flag for a particular purpose. Now, Mr Chair, I would have thought if the Prime Minister is spending so much political capital on this, and he is according to the polls, because the vast majority of New Zealanders do think this is mistimed and is a huge waste of money considering all the issues we've got, then this legislation would actually be very, very clear that the New Zealand flag must be flown at all times. Part of the reason we're told that we need a new flag is because there is confusion between the New Zealand flag and the Australian flag. Well, what this legislation actually does is nothing to alleviate that confusion at all. In fact, what it does do is it adds to the confusion, because this legislation says anyone apart from a government department may fly the New Zealand flag. This gives them a legitimate right to fly the New Zealand flag at any time. It does say except required by law to use New Zealand flag or another specified flag for a particular purpose. Now, I'm not too sure what the definition of a particular purpose is. I can make some assumptions, but I have absolutely no idea what the definition of a particular purpose is. So this just creates a whole another level of confusion. Mr Chair, in 7 Part D, it talks about the days or occasions on which and the times in which the 1902 flag or any other flag of historical significance may be flown. Now, again, I've looked through the schedules and I cannot find a list of days that this clause relates to. And I would love the Minister and the Chair to stand up and just let us know. Is it all the statutory holidays? Is it every Sunday? Is it only Anzac Day? Is it a day when people are allowed to wear their relatives or ancestors' medals? I am not sure. So, Mr Chair, the main aim of alleviating confusion about our national identity seems to have been taken away by this legislation, Mr Chair, because this legislation legitimises the right of every New Zealander to fly the 1902 flag. And I think what we will find probably as an element of protest, is there will be more New Zealand flags, i.e. the 1902 flag, the current flag, the one on my lapel. I think you will find there will be more 1902 flags flown around this country than we have seen for a generation. As people say, I reject this whole process. I reject the fact that the government is spending money at this point in time on a worthless cause when there are so many more important issues that we could be spending $25 million on, that we will go out there and we're going to fly that New Zealand flag. In fact, at my house in Napier, I have a 100-year-old Kauri flagpole, and the flag that flies from that flag will be the 1902 flag. It is at the moment, and it will be going forward, Mr Chair. My house is not a government department, so according to this legislation, I'm allowed to fly that flag whenever I want to. But the other thing, Mr Chair, is anyone can fly that flag. Government department, a government ministry can. In fact, the confusion that will be created by this is something that I think is a real anomaly in this legislation, Mr Chair, and I would like to have seen it disappeared. I would like to have seen the government have courage of its convictions. If it is spending this amount of political capital, then be clear. You fly the New Zealand flag or you don't. This says you can do whatever you want, except on a couple of occasions which we have absolutely no idea what they are.
I call